What's happening, everybody? This is Ro from iQuiz.com coming to you live from the Comic Bug in Manhattan Beach. Joining me today on this countdown is Mike, the owner of the Comic Bug.
How's it going, man?
How you doing, sir?
With you.
So there's a lot of new canon material coming out, and I'm having trouble keeping up. I have a stack of novels. I need help picking a comic book.
That's why I'm here, man.
Okay, so we're going to go through Mike's Star Wars comic book picks. Before we get started with this countdown, what can you tell me about this new Marvel line of comics for Star Wars?
Well, this time, there's been great Star Wars comics in the past, don't get me wrong, but this time it's a little bit different because number one, we've got the top talent in the industry working on these books. Number two, we have the benefit of hindsight, knowing where the canon, where the story went, and like some of the blanks that could be filled in an awesome way. So, we're jettisoning 38 years of expanded universe continuity, which, 38 years is a long time to have to adhere to,
in all honesty, it was getting really confusing.
It was, and it was just laborious is what I would call it. Yeah. But so, we're hitting the ground running, and it's footloose, fancy-free, and fun, and that's the main thing. That's what's been missing, I think, from Star Wars for a while.
Let's start this countdown then.
Let's do it.
We're going to start off with number 5. What do you got?
Number 5. Well, what have we here? It's Lando.
What do you like about that book?
Well, it's written by Charles Soule, and Alex Maleev is the artist, and they capture his sort of silken tongue, I don't know, smooth talking, kind of wily ways. It explores Lando and Lobot's friendship more than the movies did, and it's kind of a sweet...
where in the timeline does it fall?
It takes place before Empire Strikes Back and after the destruction of the Death Star.
Gotcha.
And they steal one of the galaxy's most expensive spaceships in this story, and it happens to belong to the Emperor.
Very cool.
Just
one question: does he have a cape in this?
Oh yeah, come on, man, it's Lando.
I'm in.
Yes.
Coming up at number 4 is a book I've actually started to read. I'm only on the 3rd issue, I believe, so far. What can you tell us about your pick?
Darth Vader. I actually chose the second storyline of this series. It's called Shadows and Secrets. And so the first storyline, Darth Vader is kind of reeling from the destruction of the Death Star, demoted, whatever. And then in the second story arc, he's like, okay, well, who blew up the Death Star? And he goes to Tatooine, finds out it was actually his son. So Luke, you're grounded. And what's really cool about this is the characters. In a lot of the Marvel books, they introduce these characters that are specific to the Star Wars universe, and they're canon, but they're being introduced in the comics. And this is Dr. Aphra. She builds robots. I wonder if she built BB-8. I don't know, but she's got a great design, really spunky, cool character, and she's kind of Darth Vader's sidekick in this series so far.
So for our number 4 pick, it's the Darth Vader second story arc.
The second story arc is better than the first. The first was awesome.
At number 3 is the Star Wars book. Now, that's actually the first time I met you was the day this number 1 came out.
Yeah, it was a historic day, man.
Yeah, it was.
It's good to know you.
Absolutely. What can you tell me about this book and where it's gone and why it's important to get into this one?
Yeah, so number 3, my choice is Star Wars, and this storyline is called Showdown on the Smuggler's Moon. And Han and Leia, it's kind of the first time that they get to spend any real time together because, this is right after episode 4, and that was all about rescuing. And, he and Leia are on this mission. Luke's off, discovering himself. So, it's time to get real. But then Han Solo's wife shows up. Oops. Sana Solo, another Marvel introduced character. She's claiming to be his wife. We don't really know because he says, no, it's not my wife, but we all know he's a bit of a swindler too. So, But it's a really fun, cool story.
I remember when that storyline hit the internet, it blew up the internet. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to reading more of that series.
Boom.
Now, I'm super excited about The Force Awakens, so I started reading a series of novels, starting with Weapon of the Jedi, because it ties in to The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
At number 2, what is your pick, and what can you tell us about that?
This is Shattered Empire, and it's called Journey to Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Right.
And it deals with the immediate aftermath of Return of the Jedi. Introduces a character named Shara Bay, who is the mother of some character that's going to be in The Force Awakens. I don't want to spoil it, but read the book. And it's our first look into the canon version of what happened after Return of the Jedi. Luke is kind of headed a certain way. There's Jedi trees, which maybe that's the new midichlorians. I don't know, but it's cool. It's like a fun sort of look at where things are headed. It doesn't take place years and years into.
Now, not all of the books have this logo.
No.
Journey to the Saga of the Force Awakens or whatever, the novels, there are a series of novels with this logo on it. Now, this is very specific to the upcoming movie, correct?
Yes, it is. I mean, it's again, they introduce a character who's the mother of, I almost said it, but and then there's going to be a C-3PO one shot after this that explains why he has a red arm.
Right.
So, and you can only get that story in comics.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. This is definitely on my list coming up.
Yeah, check it out.
The number one spot on this list is occupied by which book?
The one that started it all, Star Wars #1. I don't even have a first printing anymore. This is a 7th printing. It's embarrassing. I can't show you a first printing. But I'll tell you, I mean, when you read this book, you can literally, you don't even need a stereo. You can hear the John Williams soundtrack just, I mean, look, it opens like that, and it's like, and then I think, if I'm not mistaken, you got your crawl. And it's just every Star Wars movie opens with a spaceship.
I don't think I was ever as excited about a comic book release in my life as I was about this.
Dude, we ordered 1,000 of these, of the first printing, and you know, sold out. But what I really like about this is, you know, Jason Aaron and John Cassidy, the guys who make the book, you could tell they're just having a great time writing it. They really are tapped into the chemistry of Luke and Leia and Han Solo and even Vader and everybody, and I think that's kind of what was missing in the prequels, and looks like it's back for the Force Awakens. But I mean, there's like an AT-AT fight in a junkyard. There's just all this cool stuff, and it's definitely like not deep. It's just popcorn fun. Yeah. And it's widescreen, and it's
and it has a classic feel to it.
It does. It does. I mean, it takes you right back to that feeling of, you know, walking out of the theater after seeing the Star Wars movie.
The number one selling comic of all time? Does it still hold that record? Or
I mean, it's number one selling comic I've ever sold. Yeah. I mean, I've never sold 1,000 copies of something.
All right.
It's crazy. So
there's your number one. So I hope you like Mike's picks. I certainly do. It's increased my reading list by this much.
I'm sorry.
It's all good, man. I got to get caught up. It's my job. Before we go, want to thank you for having that hashtag show down here at the Comic Bug week after week.
We love you guys, man. You guys are awesome.
What can you tell us about Star Wars, the Comic Bug, and everything in general before we get out of here?
Well, if you want to buy some Star Wars comics and you live in the LA area, come down to the Comic Bug. We have heaps, mountains, piles, lots. We love Star Wars here. If you look, we transformed the shop into a Star Wars museum. And we're going to do a screening on December 17th. Unfortunately, it's sold out, but we're going to have an exclusive print for it. It's Livio Ramondelli. He's an awesome artist.
Very cool.
Yeah, he's doing a really cool sort of homage to the Empire Strikes Back teaser poster.
Awesome.
And we have these t-shirts here. People love these t-shirts. And yeah, I mean, the Force is strong with the Comic Bug.
Right, there you have it.
Find out why. Yeah.
He's Mike. I'm Ro from iQuiz.com. This is That Hashtag Show. Be sure to hit that subscribe button to keep up with everything trending in geek pop culture, and we'll see you guys next week.
May the Force be with you.